wake of the recent outbreak of the Ebola virus in the Republic of Congo, the Nigerian Senate has urged the Minister of Interior to take necessary steps to check migration. The upper chamber also advised the Ministry of Health to ensure alertness to combat disease, whatever cases may arise, to get Ebola vaccine ready for an emergency. These resolutions were reached after a point of order by Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who cited Order 42 and 52 on the issue of Ebola currently ravaging the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Senate is disturbed that recent reports of media outlets and the World Health Organization show that the disease is back in neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, with 19 dead and 39 infected casualties recorded so far. Senate is further reminded that the DRC is 435 kilometers by air from Abuja, is easily accessible via a flight from Lagos that takes less than 3 hours. Senate notes also the report of the World Health Organization stating that Nigeria and other African countries are at modest risk of spread. Senate is worried that unless we prepare our hospitals properly equipped with the Ebola vaccine where necessary, this is an epidemic we might be unable to take on and will only cause untold hardship.
Other lawmakers lend their voices to debate on the matter, also raised concern or Senate to ask for a quick resolution in the ongoing crisis involving health workers in Nigerian hospitals.
And should there be the introduction of this viral problem into our country, we won't even have the health workers to attend to it. So I think because of the possibility of such a crisis, we must urge an immediate intervention in this long-lasting industrial action so that we will have the workers, God forbid, to attend to whatever health problem may arise in our republic. That we should intervene, that the Senate should ask for a quick resolution to the ongoing crisis by health workers in many of Nigerian public hospitals.
We had it a few years ago, about 2013, 2014. We had it. And it was very, very dangerous. The entire nation was in trouble because it was spreading like wildfire from one state to another and killing people just like that. So when it was reported that this is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo again, believe you me, everybody, including my humble self, I was visibly worried. And what is important, Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, alertness. Nigerians must be very, very alert. Prevention, they say, is far better than cure. Health authorities in this country, the Honorable Minister of Health, and the entire health family, those who are managing the health of this country, must be alert to protect all Nigerians.
With the outbreak of Ebola in Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen how lives are being lost in that country. And DRC being a country in Africa with relationship with Nigeria in various aspects, it is important that we take this motion very seriously to ensure that Nigeria is not taken unawares again.
In his remark, Senate President Bukola Saraki tasked Nigerians who travel to other countries to show almost level of care to avoid getting infected.
I think the general conclusion is that we need to be on the alert and ensure that all steps are taken to prevent any similar unfortunate occurrence in the country as happened the last time. Thank you.
After the outbreak of the Ebola virus in Congo, the World Health Organization (WHO) has classified Nigeria and other countries in Africa region to be at moderate risk of the spread. Meanwhile, Nigerian Center for Disease Control had also in a statement warned Nigerians to be cautious and take precautionary measures to prevent the outbreak of the virus in the country.
Ahead of the 2019 general elections, the number of political parties has increased from 38 in 2015 to 68, while over 100 political associations are seeking registration from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). While this may be considered as a sign of political development, some have argued that parties' proliferation may challenge smooth conduct of free, fair, and credible elections in 2019. The argument for a limited number of political parties raises fundamental questions about the country's search for an improved democratic process. At the Nigerian Political Parties Discussion Series (NPPDS), jointly organized by the Center for Democracy and Development (CDD) and Open Society Initiative for West Africa (OSIWA) in Abuja, the INEC and political parties maintain that the proliferation of political parties is not a challenge to the electoral process of the country. Themed increasing number of political parties in Nigeria and access to ballots in 2019, the panelists said rather than problem, increasing number of political parties will increase people's participation in democracy.
Our best way to deepen democracy is to forge greater understanding amongst the political class. There must be this ability to tolerate one another, knowing fully well that we are coming from different political backgrounds, different economic backgrounds, different social backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, amalgamating into a political organization or party or force.
In a democracy, what you are worried about is representation. The more political parties we have, the more representation for people with different political opinions. I think our challenge is more in the area of what the political parties do. I think parties are driven by membership. If you get membership and the membership have interest that they want to pursue, the political party becomes active, becomes important, and becomes relevant to the system. So the number is not really a problem.
The strength it gives to every individual to belong and become a member of a political party that will protect his rights and project his own principles. If you look at what Hanifa did, going to court or to Supreme Court to liberalize and give space for multi-party democracy in Nigeria, which the APC is the major beneficiary of what we're saying, because if two parties were created in 1999, we would have conscripted and contracted into a very small space where we'll continue to operate. I operate a political party that is driven like a personality cult.
Where you find political parties that are very weak, either because of their very limited reach, catchment range, wanting to participate in every election and wanting to contest every single political position, including the position of the president, when they know quite well that they don't even cover more than a few local governments in the state, then that's when it becomes a problem. So in essence, to Robert, I'm saying that as a matter of principle, I don't see anything wrong in having so many political parties. The question is the ability to discipline themselves and for the system to discipline their participation, the nature of their participation, the quality of their participation, and what they are able to do once they come into existence.
On the not too young to rule bill awaiting President Muhammadu Buhari's assent, the panelists charged the youths as well as women to ensure they take part in the political process.
Every single local government must present one physically challenged to the National Convention. In terms of women participation, as I speak with you,
We know we are not doing enough. If political parties are supposed to reflect the demography of a country, then we are definitely not doing enough. But the consciousness has to be there, even as a normative principles, that we have to continue to broaden the space for inclusion, whether of women or people living with disability or of young people. But the work that has to be done in terms of women inclusion goes beyond what political parties are willing to do. I recall that one of our recent history, in 1979, the presidential candidate of MPN, Elijah Shagari, actually wanted a woman as his running mate. And they went through the whole of the Southeast at the time, and they found a woman that they said to be. The caucus of the party rejected, the Southeast caucus of the party rejected this woman. Elijah Shagari thought it was because of where she came from. They went back and they now brought one Mrs. Upadi, I think her name Upadi, that was teaching in Alba College of Education. The Igbo caucus the party said, no, we don't want it because in Igbo land, it is the man that goes to it is the woman that goes to the man, not the other way around. So if the position of the vice president is designated for the Southeast, then it has to be occupied by a man. And for a party wanting to win elections, then you have a challenge. And that's why I said this issue goes beyond just allocating numbers. We can allocate numbers, but at the end of the day, it's what we do that makes it different.
And one thing I want to say here is that participation is key. Power is not given, you must take it. If you must participate in this democratic process, and you expect that all the big grammar that has been, put on before you here today, we put you in a place of authority. Sincerely, you are deluding yourself and you are not telling yourself the truth. For women, which we are giving most opportunities in our party, we are women leaders, not just national women leader, our national treasurer is a woman, our national organizing secretary is a woman, our national public secretary is a woman. The fact is that for the youth, you must play politics by activism, participatory politics. Get yourself out there, get yourself involved, engage in political discussion.
Speaking to journalists, Yusuf Shamsuddin, who represented Idayat Hassan, CDD director, said the engagement with the electoral umpire and the political parties was to address parties' proliferation and the dangers it poses on the credibility of the electoral process. He said the political parties must ensure that they do more to give space to the citizens to constructively engage in the entire process.
It gives opportunity for the unheard voices to be heard. I think that means that more people will have opportunity to engage in the entire process by involving themselves or being part of the 68 or more political parties that become a million of different government. So if we have that, it creates a platform for different citizens to push forward the agenda and tell Nigerians that I'm representing these political parties and this is exactly what I want to do. We all know that our constitution does not allow for independent candidates, And the only platform through which somebody can contest an election is by coming under the umbrella of political.
Nigeria is among the top 10 countries in Africa with multiple political parties. The country currently have 68 political parties, while over 100 political associations are seeking registration by INEC. Awesome Raffle, Ben Television.
The Nigerian Senate has received the 2018 budget from its Committee on Appropriation for further legislative input. The report of the 2018 budget was presented on Tuesday during the plenary and is expected to be deliberated on by senators on Wednesday before the final passage. The passage of the budget has been delayed because the ministry, department and agencies allegedly failed to submit details of their budget proposals. Also, the budget has been laid before the House of Representatives by the Committee on Appropriation. President Muhammadu Buhari had on November 17, 2017, presented a budget of 8.6 trillion naira before the joint section of the National Assembly.
The Naira on Tuesday gained 2.3 points to appreciate against the dollar at the parallel market in Lagos. The Nigerian currency traded at 360 Naira, stronger than 362.3 Naira posted on Monday, while the pound sterling and the euro closed at 497 Naira and 428 Naira respectively. Trading at the BDC segment showed that the Naira closed at 362 Naira to the dollar, the CBN regulated rate, while the pound sterling and the euro closed at 497 Naira and 428 Naira respectively. At the various windows, the Naira was sold at 361.61 Naira, while it exchanged at 305 Naira at the CBN window. Across the country, the Naira exchanged at 362 Naira to the dollar, while the pound sterling and the euro closed at 506 Naira and 435 Naira respectively in Abuja. In Port Harcourt, the Naira traded at 362 Naira. The pound sterling and the euro closed at 502 Naira and 428 Naira. And in Kano, the Naira exchanged at 361.2 Naira to the dollar, while the pound sterling and the euro closed at 497 Naira and 429 Naira respectively.